today. Now, we know Andrew Berry has been a topic of discussion ever since he pretty much traded Joe Flacco to the Bengals. Well, it looked like Mike Tomlin kind of found it odd that he would do a trade like that. Now, we know that, the Pittsburgh Steelers put the beats all over the Cleveland Browns yesterday. So for whatever reason, I don't know why they would ask Mike Tomlin about this, but they decided to do that. So shout out to their reporters, man, because they got a hot take from everybody.
Mike Tomlin has officially had enough. And honestly, can anyone blame him? The Browns just pulled off one of the wildest stunts in NFL history, trading Joe Flacco and benching Shedeur Sanders in the same week. It's like Cleveland is allergic to good decisions. The whole league's watching, jaws dropped, wondering if the Browns just enjoy chaos for breakfast. Tomlin's looking at this circus like, did they hit their heads or just their franchise? This might be the most Browns thing ever. And that's saying a lot. Let's break it down because this disaster deserves a deep dive. The Browns somehow, once again, managed to outdo themselves in pure football madness. Just when you thought Cleveland's chaos meter was maxed out, they went and found a turbo boost button somewhere near Pittsburgh.
Always try.
This season was never about
right, but Jason,
winning.
He can't accept that because
that's what I'm saying. That's the difference in the Steelers culture and the Browns culture.
Yeah, that's why the Steelers are winners and the Browns are losers.
Hey, listen, I don't care if they wasn't trying to win. Sometimes you ain't trying to do something, you think you got a game plan, but that game plan backfired. Not trying to win is not a strategy. They about to take an L on. This is how things unravel. Coaches and guys, this is not normal. Coaches in the league and general managers in the league.
Don't do that.
This is not.
Especially Tomlin.
Hey, when they told me, I said I wanted to be a GA one point inside, they said the first thing you got to know is coaches go by a code of.
Mike Tomlin was probably chilling, sipping his morning coffee, until bam, the alert popped up. Joe Flacco to the Bengals and Shedeur Sanders benched. You know that man almost spat out his drink laughing in disbelief. Tomlin's been around forever, seen every kind of locker room drama, but this right here, this was peak Cleveland. Trading away your only stable veteran quarterback and benching your most promising young gun in one breath. It's the football version of setting your own house on fire because you didn't like the curtains. You almost got to respect the Browns' dedication to self-sabotage. They don't just fumble, they turn it into performance art. And this wasn't even some quiet off-season move no one would notice. Nah, this went down right after the Steelers embarrassed them on the field, turning the Browns into their personal highlight reel.
If Joe Flacco is a concern to you, you got bigger issues. So the way I look at it, they saw firsthand how ineffective he is. Yeah, he has moments. I get it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He is a Super Bowl champ. But Joe Flacco does not scare anybody. So to me, it's like he's sending a Trojan horse to the Bengals. It's like, dude, I don't know what game film y'all watched, but if y'all willing to give us a pick for him, have him.
Pittsburgh walked away with the win, and Cleveland's response? Let's hand our rivals a working quarterback and bench the future. Absolute insanity. So when Tomlin got asked about it later, you could practically see the thought bubble above his head saying, ain't no way these dudes are serious. Are these people for real? Mike Tomlin didn't even need words. His face said it all. The man looked absolutely stunned, like he just watched someone trade a luxury car for bus fare. That blank stare of disbelief instantly went viral, because in that moment, everyone knew Tomlin didn't just win the game, he won the entire week. Meanwhile, Andrew Berry's probably sitting in his office like a mad scientist, grinning as his experiment explodes right in front of him. The trade made 0 sense. Not on paper, not on film, not even in theory. Maybe Berry thinks he's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers, but from where the rest of us sit, it looks more like he's playing Jenga, blindfolded.
Got to play each other this weekend, right, so he's probably a little annoyed by that.
I think part of this is Mike Tomlin defending Kevin Stefanski. Mm-hmm. I think that is part of it, but I think the other part of it is if you are Mike Tomlin and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, who would you rather face on a short week? Would you rather face Jake Browning or would you rather face Joe Flacco? Now, we all know Joe Flacco is not now
Jake Browning,
what Joe Flacco once was, but Jake Browning's the answer there. And I think that this is a guy that is annoyed that a team that is going nowhere is making his life more difficult than it needs.
Watching the Browns offense try to move the ball right now is painful, like someone trying to charge their phone with a slice of toast. There's effort, sure, but absolutely nothing's working. And there's Kevin Stefanski on the sideline, clapping like it's all part of the master plan, while fans in the stands are pulling their hair out, screaming, "What are we doing?" The whole fan base has gone from hopeful to hysterical, from trust the process to process these losses. Even the scoreboard looks exhausted at this point. Tomlin's reaction spread like wildfire online, not just because it was funny, but because it perfectly summed up the Browns' eternal problem. They're allergic to stability. Every time progress peeks its head out, Cleveland panics like it's a curse. It's almost poetic. If poetry could cry. You can't even tell anymore if the Browns are cursed, confused, or just fully committed to chaos for the sake of headlines. And oh, you know the Steelers love it. Nothing brings more joy to Pittsburgh than watching Cleveland implode from the comfort of their own winning streak.
And this is what he had to say about the Browns and Cincinnati Bengals trade that involved Joe Flacco. Mike Tomlin just spoke nothing but facts. If the Browns thought that Joe Flacco was good enough to be their starter for this season, why would they trade him to a division rival that needs a quarterback? That's stupid. That's dumb. Like, why would you do that? You guys are in competition with the Cincinnati Bengals, with the Baltimore Ravens, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So why would you give them a quarterback to help their team? Just make it make sense. This is why I tell y'all that the Cleveland Browns are so far away from being a...
Tomlin probably left that press conference, walked into the locker room and joked, "Let's send them a thank you card for the entertainment." Meanwhile, the Browns offense is putting up fewer points than a toddler's math quiz. 13 points a game. Every drive's a gamble. Every pass feels like a desperate prayer, and every timeout sounds like a full-blown confession. It's tragic, but also kind of comedy gold. And then there's Dylan Gabriel, the poor guy now carrying the weight of Cleveland's madness on his shoulders. They tossed him straight into a hurricane with nothing but a paper umbrella for protection. He's out there dropping back 58 times against the Steelers like someone dared him to see how long he could survive the storm.
I need to hire Mike Tomlin one day, and guess what? He like, I feel you so incompetent, I'm taking that chip off the table. I don't want to go with you. I'm not eating birthday cake with you ever.
It's a code of conduct.
It's a code.
But here's what, to build on what you're saying. It is a code of conduct, and it might not be written anywhere, but it's talked about everywhere. Here's what's mind-blowing to me. Mike Tomlin never does that. Mike Tomlin is a Tony Dungy disciple. Mike Tomlin, if he doesn't have something good to say, says nothing. Not only did he take a shot, he took a shot at...
And then the coaches hit the mic and say he just needs to execute better, which is hilarious because how do you execute a game plan that doesn't even exist? The fans, they've had enough. They're done with moral victories and motivational speeches. They want touchdowns, not TED Talks. Every week they show up full of hope, scream their lungs out, and leave with a migraine. And somewhere on that sideline, Shedeur Sanders is just standing there, watching it all with that calm stare like, y'all done yet? You can feel the tension building with every missed throw, every busted play, every awkward press conference. The whole city's holding its breath waiting for one thing, the moment Shedeur finally takes the field. When that day comes, the stadium's gonna explode. The crowd will lose their minds the second he steps out there, because this isn't just football anymore. This is about hope, redemption, and maybe, finally, a little bit of sanity in Cleveland. This city's been craving a real quarterback for decades, someone who can break the curse, silence the critics, and give them something to believe in again. But what do the Browns do? They hype a guy up, toss him into chaos, then act confused when it all falls apart.
You can't hide it no much more. Like, there was a discussion about if a guy from the practice squad should be the number 2 quarterback. Now, granted, they made Shedeur number 2, but it was, how's that even a question? I've been on the roster since game 1. But I'll just say this, though. It's always been Shedeur time, right? You go on a season with Joe Flacco as your quarterback, like, you didn't take this year serious.
Yeah.
Why is he starting? But I will say this, though. Dylan Gabriel, I mean, he didn't look terrible. He's a rookie.
Correct.
Right? He showed me something.
It's like planting a rose in a sandstorm and being shocked it didn't bloom. Yet Shedeur doesn't strike you as the type to fold under pressure. Nah, he's got that calm swagger, that quiet confidence, and an arm that demands respect. So why is he still on the bench? If you're rebuilding, rebuild around the one player who actually gives your franchise a pulse. Instead, the Browns are overthinking everything, turning football into some kind of Sudoku puzzle nobody asked to solve. Now let's talk about what's coming next, because this stretch right here might be the make or break moment for the Browns. The Dolphins are up next, and if things don't change fast, it's going to be a straight-up bloodbath. Dylan Gabriel's basically fighting for his job while fans in the stands are already chanting, "We want Shedeur," before kickoff even starts. Every incomplete pass he throws is another nail in his starting career. One more wobble, and the crowd might just start booing before halftime. If he loses this one, the cries for Shedeur will be deafening. Circle the date, November 16th. That might be the day Cleveland finally gets something right. Picture it now.
Trading Joe Flacco to a division rival is just the cherry on top. That's why I just don't understand how people can even be Cleveland Browns fans. They have shown y'all year after year that we are going to continue to make dumb decisions. You know why they're not going to change? It's because y'all still buy tickets to the game. I bet if y'all stop buying tickets to the game, stop buying merch, stop buying this, and that, they're going to change some shit. If they look up every month and there's still fans in the crowd, why would they stop doing the bullshit? Why? But Mike Tomlin, I agree with everything you said in that clip right there. I agree.
The lights blazing, the crowd roaring, the whole city holding its breath as Shedeur Sanders jogs onto the field. It's cinematic, it's dramatic, it's pure Cleveland redemption waiting to happen. This city's been starving for that movie moment, that one scene where the chaos turns into clarity. Every week, the Browns keep trying to explain what's wrong, but it's always the same tired excuses. Bad play calling, no rhythm, poor execution. The sad truth? The defense has actually been doing their job. They've been out there grinding, keeping games close, while the offense keeps tripping over its own shoelaces. And the front office? Acting like everything's fine. The same geniuses who traded away Joe Flacco, the only man who looked like an adult in the building, to the Bengals. That's not just a bad move. That's like handing your neighbor your lawnmower.
Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry don't know what they're doing, specifically with the quarterback position. It's something I've been telling y'all. Hey, there is no proof that the Browns develop well. There's no proof that the Browns choose well at the quarterback position. Nothing has been said that they do the right thing at the quarterback position. So Mike Tomlin, after beating the Browns for the 22nd consecutive time at home, he went ahead and literally called out the...
After he burned down your fence, a level of generosity so absurd, it feels like they're trying to humiliate themselves on purpose. But maybe that's the true beauty of the Browns. They're the NFL's ultimate paradox. So bad it's fascinating. So chaotic it's entertaining. Even when they lose, they somehow win in meme value. Every season feels less like football and more like a reality show, packed with drama, confusion, and the occasional miracle. You can't look away even when you want to. Now, you might think Mike Tomlin went off on Andrew Berry out of pure frustration, but nah, deep down, he's amused. The man's been in this league long enough to know one golden rule: never interrupt your rival when they're busy making a mistake. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the free winds rolling in while Cleveland keeps writing the next episode of their own chaos saga. And that's exactly what Pittsburgh's doing, sitting back, feet up, enjoying the chaos like it's primetime television.
But here's the thing, but if he's bad, right, they still don't give him grace because you're a rookie.
Yeah.
The number one pick you just said is not playing well.
Correct.
Right? What other rookies just get benched when they playing bad?
Correct.
It don't happen like that.
The only thing is he has to play awful, right? We saw Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush got 2.5 quarters. Snoop Huntley went in for the Ravens today.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush got $6 million this offseason, y'all. Supposed to be the backup. $6.2 million, $4 million guaranteed. And Cooper.
Meanwhile, over in Cleveland, those weekly press conferences feel less like football updates and more like group therapy sessions. Everyone's saying all the right things. We'll bounce back. We're learning. We believe in the process, but nobody's actually fixing anything. It's like watching someone mop the floor while water keeps pouring from the ceiling. You can't help but laugh and shake your head. But here's the thing about Cleveland. No matter how deep they fall, they always get back up. That city's built different. It's gritty, stubborn, and somehow still full of heart. Maybe that's exactly why Shedeur Sanders is the perfect fit. He's got that quiet fire, that unshakable belief that he can change the narrative even when everyone else is laughing. When he finally gets his shot, that stadium is going to explode because deep down, everyone's been waiting for this. The teammates, the media, the fans, even the rivals who secretly know what's coming. The hype around Shedeur isn't just about skill, it's about hope. It's about the dream that maybe, just maybe, this time Cleveland finally got it right. And if not, well, it'll still be wildly entertaining to watch. Because when it comes to turning chaos into comedy, nobody, and I mean nobody, does it like the Browns.
To investigate the Cleveland Browns at this point. So as we all know, they traded Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals, an in-division rival. Dylan Gabriel's their starter, so that leaves backup, which is most likely should be Shedeur Sanders. Kevin Stefanski came out today and said, yeah, they haven't decided who the backup quarterback is going to be between Shedeur Sanders and Bailey Zappi. Are you kidding me? Bailey Zappi? The fucking New England Patriots Bailey Zappi? The one that played a few games for the Browns last year? You think that he might be better than Shedeur?
So here we are. Mike Tomlin sitting with the last laugh, Andrew Berry starring in The Strangest Plan in Football, Kevin Stefanski tightrope walking between excuses and optimism, and Shedeur Sanders waiting for his moment to flip the script. In this twisted, unpredictable, and downright hilarious soap opera we call the NFL, there's drama, there's comedy, and then there's Cleveland. The Browns don't just play football, they turn it into performance art. Every season's a new episode of heartbreak, hope, and headline-making madness. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. Because if the Browns ever got normal, the NFL would lose one of its most reliable storylines. They're not just a team, they're a public service for sports entertainment. The funniest part, the Browns act shocked every single time their grand plans blow up. Like this is somehow new. You'd think after decades of football heartbreak, Cleveland would recognize the warning signs by now, but nope. Every new decision comes with the same wide-eyed optimism of a toddler waving a sparkler next to a gas can. The rest of us just grab the popcorn and wait for the inevitable explosion. Meanwhile, over in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin's probably sitting in his office with that trademark poker face, quietly wondering if he accidentally stepped into an NFL parody. This is the football version of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic and calling it team building. Over in the Browns locker room, players are probably side-eyeing each other like, who's next on the chopping block? Trust? Gone. Completely evaporated. Because when you trade away a veteran leader like Joe Flacco to a division rival, no less, that's not just a move, that's a message. And that message screams loud and clear. We're winging it now. And then there's Shedeur Sanders, sitting right there on the bench, ready, capable, and built for the moment, while the team keeps pretending Dylan Gabriel is the future. It's wild.
I think that is part of it, but I think the other part of it is, if you are Mike Tomlin and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, who would you rather face on a short week? Would you rather face Jake Browning or would you rather face Joe Flacco? Now, we all know Joe Flacco is not now
Jake Browning,
what Joe Flacco once was, but Jake Browning's the answer there. And I think that this is a guy that is annoyed that a team that is going nowhere is making his life more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah, that's understandable. I do think, though, that he and Kevin have respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he was defending Kevin in his own way because he knows that Kevin isn't going to. Kevin was asked about this quip because he went on to do his press conference later on in the afternoon.
You can practically hear the fans shouting, "Play Shedeur," before the national anthem even finishes. But you know what? If anyone can handle this mess, it's him. The guy's built for pressure. He's got poise, confidence, and that quiet swagger that Cleveland's been craving for years. When he finally gets his shot, he won't just be playing for a win, he'll be playing to rewrite the entire franchise's story. Until then, it's just more chaos, more weird play calls, more frustrated press conferences, and more analysts trying to explain what can't be explained. The Browns are stuck in a cycle of confusion they can't seem to escape. And the fans, man, they're the real MVPs here. These people have been through more rebuilds than an entire construction company convention, and somehow, they still believe. They still buy the tickets, still wear the jerseys, still chant, "Next year's our year." That's loyalty on another level, the kind that deserves an award. or at least a lifetime supply of therapy sessions. As the season creeps forward, one thing's becoming crystal clear. Cleveland's chaos isn't a phase, it's a lifestyle. And while the rest of the league watches in disbelief, the Browns' faithful keep showing up, hearts bruised but unbroken, waiting for the day Shedeur finally steps in and flips the whole script. Mike Tomlin didn't just call out the Browns, he exposed them. He pulled the curtain back on everything Cleveland's been trying to hide. You can't fake leadership, you can't fake direction, and right now the Browns have neither. While Tomlin keeps stacking wins and sipping his coffee in peace, Cleveland's front office is busy turning headlines into punchlines. Week after week, the chaos keeps growing, and somewhere out there, as another Sunday circus kicks off, you just know Mike Tomlin's sitting back, smirking to himself, whispering the 3 words every Steelers fan already knows by heart, here we go. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you on the next one.